All right, I'm going to show you how you can construct a circle using three different methods. The first two methods are the easiest by far of the three methods, and they are the ones that are hopefully most obvious. And so the first one is to construct a circle using the criteria of where the center is and what the radius is going to be. So if we just randomly choose a point and call that the center, and we're going to say, oh, for this circle, we're going to make the radius 3 centimeters. So there's my radius right there. And so that defines our circle, and all that's needed to do is draw the circle. So you take your compass. I'm going to use a safety compass here, and you place your compass with the center on the center point and the end point on where the radius is, and that creates your circle. That's fairly straightforward. Now, the other way to define a circle is by a center and a point. And so we can take any point and call that a center, and then basically say a point out here is going to represent a point on that circle using that as the center. And so again, we take our compass, we put our center at our center point, and we adjust it so that we draw our arc through the point we chose, and that creates a circle as well. So those are the two fairly straightforward ways to make a circle. Now the third way is a little bit more tricky. Requires a lot more work, but it is probably the most interesting of the three methods. And so this is to create a circle by just dropping 3 points anywhere, and those 3 points are going to be 3 points that end up on the same circle. So here's 1 point, here's another point, and here is a third point right here. Okay, so those are 3 random points. And the way that we do that, we're going to find a circle that goes through those 3 points, and we're going to do that by exploiting a property of circles about the chords. And a chord is a line segment that starts and ends on any part of a circle. And so since these 3 points are going to be on this circle, we're going to draw these chords in before we even can see the circle. And so here are 2 chords. It's not important that you know that they're called chords. That's not a big deal. But eventually we're going to be drawing a circle that's going to go through all 3 of these points. And the way that we do that is we first have to find the perpendicular bisectors of these 2 line segments. And the perpendicular bisectors we can find by drawing arcs in the following way. So we're going to draw this arc here, and when you draw these arcs, and these are just temporary really, but we draw them so that they go past half. So this arc I'm going to draw through this point is going to be past half of this line segment. And I only have to draw a little bit of this arc, just enough so that I know it's going past the halfway point, because this is a perpendicular bisector that we're drawing. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So there is the arc. And using the same radius that we just used, so not changing anything, I'm going to draw 2 other arcs. And I got a little crazy with this one, but you really only need to draw where they cross. And so if I draw the line here now, that is the perpendicular bisector of this line segment. And now we do the same thing with this segment. We go to one of the edges and make sure we have draw an arc that's more than halfway. So there's one. Do that on both sides. And do that with the other end of the line. There we go. And that will define the perpendicular bisector for the second line. And the important point here is where those two perpendicular bisectors cross each other. That, as it turns out, will be the center of the circle. So this point should be the same distance from this one, and from this one. And rather than measure that, let's draw a circle. And the circle that we're going to draw, we're going to pick that as their center, and we're going to draw through, and you'll notice that it goes through all 3 points. So have fun drawing your circles.